Hey guys, come on, Joe Thibson's watching us.
Okay, hike on 3. Great!
Programs like this do more than teach youngsters how to play games. They nourish the minds and the hearts of the kids, and they teach them what caring for each other really means. Hi, I'm Joe Theismann of the Washington Redskins, and this is my daughter, Amy. We're here with the youngsters from the Kingman Boys and Girls Club here in Washington. United Way supports kids like these all over America because they believe, as I do, that our children are the most important part of our lives. A couple of years ago, we nearly lost Amy because of a heart condition. I was fortunate. We had the finest doctors and the best surgeons. But I came to realize that there are millions of children in our country who aren't so lucky. They live in the terrible grip of poverty. That's why I do everything I can to help young people. United Way works here, and thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota, who invite you to catch the feeling and see the 1981 cars and trucks at your local Toyota dealer. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by JCPenney, JCPenney Auto Centers, and JCPenney Shop at Home Catalog.
Let's take a look now at the first half stats. The first touchdown pass, a 7-yarder from Ron Jaworski to Keith Krefley, giving the Eagles a 7-0 lead. And then, not to play favorites, he came back and hit his other tight end, John Spagnola, from 14 yards away. That made it 14-0 after the first quarter. The Redskins were on the move. And all of a sudden, it looked like Art Monk was breaking open. Roynell Young made a fine individual effort on his part with his second interception of the year. And then, with time running out in the first half, Tony Franklin with a 38-yard field goal with 1:31 left in that first half to make it 17-0. And so the Eagles are halfway towards their 7th straight win. They have, well, yardage-wise, not all that much the better, 177 to 138, John, but time of possession, they had the ball about, what, 6-7 more minutes, 5 minutes. But I think the thing that continually jumps out at me is how they just established the game. The first 2 times they had the football, they scored with it.
That was the thing, and then the Redskin defense has come back. But I'll tell you, there's one thing that we didn't show in the statistics, is the Redskins have had 3 turnovers in the first half, and that's the thing that's really hurt them.
Well, and the penalties, my golly, every time you turn around, it looked like they were having another penalty.
Well, that's about even. I think the Eagles have 6 penalties, and the Redskins have had 5 penalties. But the turnovers is the thing. Had they gotten one of those scores in there in the first half, this would be a different ball game right now.
Okay, we're ready to go now. The second half of play. Franklin, the kickoff. This will be Nelms. Nelms from the 20 out to the 24, maybe the 25-yard line. Al Chesley over to make the stop. And Washington, a football team that last week got behind early. They finally lost that ball game. And then a team that, I guess if you look at it, they were 35-21 and 39-14 with all their points coming in that second half. So they'd like to get at least that many here in this second half and tighten this one up a little bit. From the 25, Art Monk. Ricky Thompson to the bottom of the screen. Wilbur Jackson, Clarence Harmon, the running backs. Here's Jackson. That'll be a 2-yard pickup to the 27-yard line.
Wonder if the Redskins will go back to that sweeping action. The running success that they did have in the first hand was the sweeping, the outside stuff. They haven't had a lot of success inside because of the job that they do with the penetration.
Oh, Art Monk hit Roynell Young. He didn't like that interception that Young had.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what you get for intercepting that ball on the goal line against me. That'll
get your attention. Good job there by our director, Chris Erskine, picking that one up. Buddy Hardiman now is in the backfield. In motion comes Kenny Harrison. Theismann on second down to Art Monk. Monk, a lot of people around him to the 29-yard line. Will bring up third down, still 6 yards to go. Frank LeMaster over making the tackle. Good coverage that time by Philadelphia, reacting extremely well to the football.
And Charlie Johnson was in there on Joe Theismann, and he hit him just as Theismann threw the ball.
Joe Theismann, he's been hit a couple of times.
That's what he's saying. If I can't get time to throw a little screen pass to Art Monk, I don't know if I'm going to get time to throw the ball deep and up the field, which he's going to have to do this second half.
Forte is in, along with Hardiman. As coming out of the ball game was Kenny Harrison. Third down, 7 yards to go. Theismann a hit again, but he has Monk down there. John Shira almost had an interception. Art Monk was open. Theismann really decked again. Boy, that was not too far from being a long gainer. Shira over covering. You can see Theismann is limping as he comes off the field.
And he should be. That was the type of decking that you don't like to get. We'll see Dennis Harrison, number 68, is going to hit him right here as he steps up to throw the ball, right on his left knee. And that's the tough thing. When you can't step up, then you can't follow through, and you can't get the velocity that you need on the ball.
That might have been the difference on that play.
It sure was.
Connell to kick from the 15, Shira back deep. Connell hits it very well. He's been kicking extremely well today. Shira inside the 25, to the 30, he's to the 33. Bobby Hammond again. There's Theismann trying to walk it off. Well, you can hurt some knees like that. People falling into you. You just don't bend that way sometimes. No. The Eagles have the football for the first time in the second half.
Introducing a small wonder, the new Toyota Starlet. Born small to solve big problems. Born small to deliver more miles per gallon of gas than any other car, and designed to help beat higher maintenance costs. The very new Toyota Starlet. Born small. In fact, it just may be the first small wonder of the world.
Oh, 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 what a feeling.
Starlet.
Toyota.
Monday on the season premiere of MASH, Hawkeye gets a leave.
Thanks for lending me the car, Dad.
And wishes he had never left. MASH, Monday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
That last kick by Connell was 48 yards. I see Wilbert Montgomery is not in the starting backfield as we open the second half. Louis Giamona has replaced him. Leroy Harris joins him back there. Line of scrimmage, the 33. Philadelphia the 17-0 lead, and here comes Giamona, and back he goes. Pounded pretty good. Paul Smith on that play. And they picked up maybe a yard on the play, and that's all. Second down coming up.
Louis Giamona really takes a pounding. He takes it as a running back, and he takes it as a special teams player, and they say that sometimes after the game he hurts all over and he can't locate one spot. Look at this score.
Yes, sir. Atlanta, after trailing early, now has the lead. Boy, those Falcons are 7-3. They're in first place in the NFC West, and the Cardinals are giving the Cowboys fits again.
The Giants did last week.
From the 35, they gave him 2 yards on that last play. Second down, 8. Jaworski with Bacon unloading on him, and Joe Lavender with a chance for the interception. Jaworski really hit, getting up slowly as Coy Bacon, who has 7 sacks, really pounded him.
I'm sure Stan Walters is thinking about that. He remembers the last time that he had trouble with an end in the shot that Jaworski had to take. Here's Harold Carmichael again working against double coverage. Linebacker first, and then the secondary man, who's Joe Lavender, number 20, right or left, always with Harold Carmichael. Harold Carmichael has yet to catch a pass in this game.
That's right. And that was where it all started, was right here in Washington, that long string of 122. Jaworski all right, but boy, did he get hit. Third down and 8. Rodney Parker has come in as a wide receiver. Redskins are making it a long afternoon for Carmichael. Jaworski back. Here he goes, Monty Coleman. And the Redskins pass rush has picked up since he went into the dressing room.
They did. They were going at the end of the first half there. The Redskin defense had come on, and I think all they need now is a score. Get their offense going. See, they had the 4-man rush here. They brought the linebacker, Monty Coleman, straight up the middle. The backs went out. No one picked him up, and boom, he got what he wanted.
That's the 3rd sack for Monty Coleman as a linebacker. As now Runniger will kick. Helms is back. There's Max Runniger. His average, very good for the day. 11:57 to go in this third quarter. There's Frank LeMaster yelling some instructions out, moving around, number 55. And he took a long time getting that kick off. Almost took too much time. Nelms on the run. And he gets loose for a moment from Ray Phillips. But he is hit pretty well. But the Redskins will have good field position. The ball is just short of the 45-yard line. Look at this. He took a long time, and Zion McKinney, 84, got pretty close to the football.
It's knowing you depend on us. We're gonna solve your problems, yeah, we understand. It's knowing Avis tries so hard. We'll always be right there to lend a helping hand.
Yeah, Avis takes the worry out of renting cars, no matter where the road may wind. And Avis, you're leaving your worries behind.
In rain, snow, slush, in any road conditions, you need the Mileage Maker XP with the unique interlock block tread. Season in, season out. The only tire you need. Only at JCPenney.
JCPenney Auto Centers. We won't steer you wrong.
That was only a 33-yard kick that time by Runniger. And at the 44-yard line, Washington has a football, and as you mentioned, John, they score here. Could be a new story at RFK Stadium. Theismann limping a little bit. He has a pulled hamstring. Throwing to Monk. John Bunting, Herman Edwards defending on the play. That'll bring up second down. They've really tried to open up that middle, haven't they? But they haven't been able to catch those passes over the middle.
I think on this pass, I think that Joe Theismann was trying to go deep. As we watch Art Monk here, he was looking in a different direction. Then he had to wait. He had good pass protection, and he came into the middle late. See, it looked like Art Monk didn't really expect to get that ball.
Second down 10. Kenny Harrison and Art Monk, the wide receivers. Theismann to Wilbert. Jackson to the 50. Jackson close to the first down. Just short of the 45. And this crowd has come alive here. Renard Wilson, the free safety, up to make the stop.
The crowd has come alive, and now the Redskins have to come alive, and I think they need something to get them out of this. Something explosive, a long run or a long pass, and at the end of that long play, no penalty.
You saw that score in New England leading Los Angeles. Frank Correll with a 29-yard field goal in the third quarter of that game. Jackson now has 52 yards on 9 carries, a first down. Jackson again. Jackson to the 40. Jackson getting some running room on flag. 2 flags have been thrown in the vicinity of Jeff Williams, number 73, one of the linemen. That's what it's going to be, holding against Washington. And that seems to be a familiar sight as far as the Redskins are concerned. Another drive stopper possible.
That's the first thing you learn as a coach. You never talk about something bad that can happen to you, because invariably it does happen. I just said they need something to drive, get some big plays going without a penalty. They get one, they get a couple first downs, and then boom, there's a yellow flag on them, holding. They go back 10 yards, but they still have pretty good field position here, and it's still first down.
Holding number 73, offense.
I tell you, I'm learning from you that where they throw the flags, you can pretty much tell what's going on. And Williams that time looked like he wanted to crawl into a hole.
Right. We used to scout that. We always knew who called what and from where and why and when.
Especially why.
Or when.
First and 20 now. Theismann, look out. He gets it off. Forte, and Forte gets another yardage back to the 42-yard line. Randy Logan defending on the play, and Theismann had a man coming from the blind side, but he stayed in the pocket and threw the completion.
There is one tough guy, because, you know, those quarterbacks, they get back there and they don't always see things coming. They don't always see bodies flying at them, but I'll guarantee you they feel them. Joe Theismann, he felt that. He knew it was coming from his backside. After he threw the ball, he felt it again.
So they're still 6 yards short, almost 7 yards of a first down. Second down coming up. Buddy Hardiman in the backfield, Ike Forte, Thompson, Art Monk to the top of the screen, split out. Theismann, you can see he's really limping. It's Forte. Forte struggling for that first down. Forte has been a very instrumental force in this Redskin offense today. Roynell Young defending on the play. I don't know if you noticed, John, but Theismann is really struggling. He's set up on this last play, and he's really gimpy. Watch him.
Yes, we'll see it again here. He has a hamstring pull, and you can see as he comes out of there, he's carrying that one leg like he's dragging it, but he's one tough customer.
He looked one way and threw the other. So it's going to be third down, less than a yard to go. Theismann now 10 of 22 for 108 yards. Forte has 5 catches for 62 yards. That's a big afternoon. There's Theismann. They're going to throw. Buddy Hardiman. Buddy Hardiman, who was a quarterback at Iowa State, threw a very fine pass. Monk could not hang on.
I'll tell you, we were saying it is a game of inches, but I thought that this was an ideal time for a passing play off a run fake, a play pass. This is a run pass where they fake the sweep, and then they go. Art Monk had him. He had his man beat. It was a perfect throw from anyone, a quarterback or a running back. Look at that throw. Difficult catch up over the head. But again, that's one that they have to make. But now they knew that they could go for it on fourth down. I'm sure they'll run this play.
And that's what they're going to do. Let's go for it on fourth down. Less than a yard to go. Forte, I don't think he made it.
No, he didn't make it.
Ball is loose. Picking it up is Jerry Robinson. Robinson to the 30, 25, 20. Brad Dean can't get him, and Robinson has taken it in for a touchdown. What a reversal on fourth and less than a yard. And the Eagles have gone the other way.
You talk about things that can turn a game around. First of all, they have a great call. They have a great call. They get the ball to Art Monk. The ball is dropped. Now they come back on fourth down. They have to get it. Penetration from the offside. Fumble picked up by Jerry Robinson. No one touched him there. See, so he can still run with the ball, which he does all the way to the end zone. Now right here, he was a wide receiver in high school, and he looks like one, or a running back right there going down the sideline. Good balance, staying in. Nice little move there.
Does he have a spike?
No, well, he was going to, but then they all came and jumped on him, and he didn't have time to get into a spike.
59 yards. It was Carl Hairston that jarred the ball loose from Wilbur Jackson, and Jerry Robinson took over from there.
Carl Hairston has been all over this field today.
Tony Franklin trying to add the 24th point of the afternoon for Philadelphia, and he does. 24-0.
Watch us, we'll see it again here as he comes in here. See, it's a lead play. Hairston comes from the backside. He has to be blocked all the time. He wasn't. Came in, penetration. Robinson picks it up. Poor Joe Theismann tried to catch him and couldn't.
In most commercials, the cars start up here with some help from a helicopter. But these babies from Subaru don't need help. They can switch from front to four-wheel drive. And for tougher going, they keep going with a dual-range gearbox. Any cars would look good up here. But all Subaru four-wheel drive cars even look good getting up here. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Welcome to Club Atari. What's your pleasure? Breakout? Ah, here's something new. Circus Atari.
Cartridges, video chess, football. Cartridge, sir? Fez is here.
We meet again, Fez.
Yes, a little game of Space Invaders, perhaps. What shall we play for?
For fun, of course.
No other company offers you as many different video game cartridges as Atari.
Next Saturday, see the hottest wheels in Atlantic City as the battle of the NFL cheerleaders continues. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
It's a stunned crowd here at RFK Stadium as Jerry Robinson just went 59 yards on a fumble recovery. Franklin added the point after. Last time that there was ever a return against the Redskins was the Giants. Did it back in 1978 when Troy Archer returned 120 yards. Look at this. Helms bringing it out across the 30, 32, and there's another flag. Steve Wagner, the young man who was activated this week when Zach Henderson was put on the injured reserve with a hamstring injury, over to make the tackle. And have a personal foul. Just a personal foul only. I shouldn't say only, a personal foul.
You were waiting for the clip. You mean personal foul clip? It wasn't. Personal foul against the Eagles, it was.
Well, that'll add 15. Boy, you look back now, John, at that near miss with Art Monk.
Well, you know, there were really two with Art Monk. The first one was an interception in the end zone by Roynell Young. The second one was a true miss.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 59, kicking team.
That's Al Chesley, the second-year man from Pittsburgh. St. Louis is now leading Dallas 21-10. Jim Hart hit Pat Tilley for 60 yards. He's hit a 69 and a 60-yarder against Dallas. And Sims last week went crazy. Theismann, Harmon. Boy, did he catch it? I don't think he did. He didn't. He did not catch the football. Boy, he's had a tough time over the middle.
That's what Joe Theismann is thinking right now. What do we have to do?
And Harmon, as we've mentioned, has been a big play performer. Now it's 21-17, but a 69 and a 60-yard touchdown pass by Hart.
Hart, he's something. He gets better with age, and Nat Tilley is one of the most underrated players in this league.
Well, he had 53 catches, which was tops in the NFC going into that game.
Yeah.
Kenny Harrison has come in. Also, Art Monk is split out. One running back. That's Harmon. Second down, 10. Theismann to Monk. He has this one. And he lost his first down, I believe, by trying to make a move. He had a first down. He cut back. Let's see if he lost it. It's going to be very close. They may have to measure. Herman Edwards with the tackle. I'm going to move the sticks over, not very far, as the ball on the near sideline.
Well, it may not be a first down, but it was still a smart move by Art Monk. I think if they were ahead or if the game were real close and tight, then maybe you want to keep the first down. When you're down 24-0, you have to think aggressive. You have to make something happen, and we see it was a first down. But you have to take those chances in this situation. As we see Monk here again, he does catch a ball. He makes a nice move on Young. He has the first down, but as he's trying to break it, he loses. Then he gets back up and gets the first down again. But he tried to make something happen.
There's an interesting stat on Monk. I'll tell you one catch he tried to make a while ago and did not. First down at the 42. Ricky Thompson in motion. Wilbur Jackson has had a very good afternoon. Jackson inside the 40 to the 39. Bill Berge over to make the tackle for Philadelphia. 9:22 left in this third quarter. It's 24-0 Philadelphia. They led at halftime 17-0. Baltimore leading Detroit. Detroit hanging on. They have a one-game lead over the Minnesota Vikings.
You know, one thing in this second half, the offensive line of the Redskins is doing a much better job. I think in the first half, they were dominated by the Eagle defense, and it hasn't been so this half.
Jackson now with 53 yards. Second down and 7. Theismann again. You can see he's limping. Rifles it, and that catch is made by Kenny Harrison. Kenny Harrison getting a lot of playing time today, and that will be a first down at the 30-yard line. He's one of the people who wear glasses. Only about 7 players in the NFL that wear glasses.
Here's
one of them.
Right, we see him now. He's running just a hook pattern where he hooks, then he works to the inside for the open slot in the zone, catches the ball for a first down. Kenny Harrison and Ricky Thompson alternate, and they bring in the plays.
Speaking of people who wear glasses, Joe Lavender also does. Defensive back for Washington. First down at the 30. Theismann, Hairston after him. Flag on the play, and this is going to be intercepted. Charlie Johnson. And believe it or not, that's his second interception this year, and you don't see nose guards come away with interceptions very often. We'll see what the penalty's all about.
You don't. I think it's going to be against the Eagle defense, so they'll... Nope, it's not. It's going to be against the Redskins. But one thing with an active defensive line as this team has, the Eagles, they tend to come up with those types of plays.
Well, you know, Hairston had an interception last week on a very similar play where Johnson batted it in the air.
Right. And I'm sure that the Redskins are totally frustrated right now.
Number 73, offense, ineligible downfield. Number 73, offense. It was illegal motion on the left guard. Offense. Penalty will be declined. First down.
Now that's about as many things as can go wrong with one play as possible. The guy was illegal in motion. He was downfield. Someone else was in motion. Complete chaos.
To Subaru, an economy car is only economical if it stands up year after year. Spending less at the pump is no bargain if you start spending more at the garage. And a study of Subaru owners, Road and Track magazine said, quote, one of the most trouble-free cars we've surveyed. That makes Subaru the economy car it pays to hold on to. Year after year after year. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Life of Georgia has millions of futures to protect. And one way we do this is with solid investments in a hydroelectric plant in Quebec, a helicopter company in Oregon, energy research in Wyoming, a university medical complex in Alabama, the city of Atlanta, and many others. We're Life of Georgia. We're one of the largest life insurance companies in the United States, and we're working to ensure your future.
Tuesday, the all-American movie hero is back in the story that takes up where Billy Jack left off. Tom Laughlin returns in the trial of Billy Jack.
The Philadelphia Eagles have the ball at the 40. John, we should mention one of the few things that Philadelphia hasn't done today, look at those turnovers, would you, is get a pass complete to Harold Carmichael to keep his string going.
And we see Coach Dick Vermeil there. He's looking at the list, probably looking for something that they can get the ball to Carmichael with and get it over with.
Carmichael to the bottom of the screen, split out. Harris and Giamona in the backfield. Giamona, boy, is he hit. The 42-yard line. He was all beaten and battered and bruised in that Chicago game.
Dick's saying, hey, that's my nephew. Block for him.
You know, he said something interesting last night. He said, you know, there's no nepotism, but he said we never probably would have taken a chance on Louis after he'd hurt a knee with the Jets, but I knew him well enough that I felt like maybe we could.
That's right, and he said that probably at that time with any other team in the National Football League, he probably wouldn't have passed his physical.
Giamona 5 for 15 in the rushing department. Second down, 9. 24-0. The Eagles with the lead. Jaworski trying to add to it. Smith is down there. Lamar Parrish for the interception. Parrish now with 5 interceptions this year. He is one of the best man-to-man coverage people in the National Football League, and there was a good example of it.
I'll tell you, he is, and he has been for a long time. He's covering Charlie Smith on this play. As we said, they flip-flop from side to side. He'll always be on Charlie Smith, and of course he came up, got in good position, and made the interception.
Well, it's been a tough afternoon for Harold Carmichael. Now watch this. He's trailing the play.
He's drawn a crowd all day. Little swing. He puts his hands up like Ali. Come on, come on.
That's Carmichael and Rich Malott.
Wide receivers aren't supposed to fight, especially middle linebackers.
From the 27, first down, Jackson trips over his own man, Jeff Williams. Williams has had one of those days, I think.
He sure did on that interception by a defensive lineman. He moved early, and then he went downfield after he moved early, and he comes out here and delivers a blow on the strong safety Logan, and then he makes the tackle.
From the 27, they didn't gain or lose anything. Second down 10. Look at this. Vikings, boy, they could move into a tie. Detroit is getting beat today. Buddy Hardiman And Hardiman brings it out close to the 35-yard line. I've always liked this guy. He played well last year, then he broke his jaw after 10 games. He started out this year with a bad ankle, hurt in the first game. And he threw a pretty fair pass that Monk could not connect with. Hardiman played his first part of his career in the Canadian Football League for Winnipeg and Toronto. Free agent signed last year and just been on the shelf a lot with injuries. Third down. 3 yards to go. Theismann back. Hits Hardiman, and Hardiman, I believe, has a first down and does. Bill Berge reacting over there. Also Randy Logan. You know, the Skins have been shut out once before this year. That was by Seattle, 14-0. Still a lot of time left in this game. 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
That was one of the few completions in the middle. Joe Theismann is trying to, I think they feel that they can work the middle of the Eagle pass defense, and they've tried with the tight end, and they've tried with the running backs and with the wide receiver, and I think that was one of the first completions that they've gotten in that area, although they've had some nice drops.
Lynn Dickey just threw a touchdown pass in a Green Bay, New York game. The Giants on top. Play action by Theismann on first down. Monk. And who has it? I believe the Redskins. Looks like Don Warren, the tight end, on the deflection. LeMaster was there with him, but this is one that went Washington's way.
After the day that they've had, I think they deserve one of these. Although it was great defense over there by the corner, Roynell Young. We'll see him here against Art Monk. Now watch here. Now right here at the breaking point, the man that gets to the ball the quickest will win. It's usually the offensive man. That's what you want. But in that case, it was Roynell Young. That was a great defensive play, and the Redskins come up with a first down.
It's the second time that Monk really hasn't come to the ball all that well.
He doesn't do that well, but he's learning.
First down at the 46-yard line. Thompson, Monk split out, and Theismann calls timeout. So Theismann asking for the first timeout. Still a lot of time left in this game. I'll say one thing for this guy. He is battling. He hasn't conceded a thing. He's 14 of 28 for 146 yards. Playing with a pulled hamstring as Kenny Harrison comes in. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. Pryor against Hart, and then a show that John watches very faithfully, the Battle of the NFL Cheerleaders. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern.
I know that you used to do that, and was it really that exciting? Was it exciting like a Super Bowl?
Close. 4:45 left in this third quarter as Theismann now has first down 10. I don't know what the mix-up was all about. That's a couple of times it's happened in this game.
I think I know what that was. He came out in a slot formation. He had both receivers on the left. He probably had a play call for regular formation, and that happens. There's certain plays that you can't run from certain formations, and he thought rather than run it anyway, he would take a timeout.
On the first down, Theismann to Jackson, the big play that's worked most of the day, and this time doesn't get all that much yardage inside the 45. Randy Logan over there. Jeff Williams again pulling and leading the interference. A concentration on Theismann as he looks to the sideline for the play from offensive coordinator Joe Walton. It's going to be second down and 7. A pickup of 3. There's Williams, a young man from Rhode Island who they felt was really a Pro Bowl potential, but he's had the injury all year long, but he's played most of the way today after we weren't even sure that he'd play that much. Jackson 56 yards on 13 carries. Thompson and Monk the wide receivers. On a 2nd and 7, Jackson the other way, cuts it up, and he is hammered at the 41-yard line. Ken Clark, the ball is loose again, but this one's been blown dead. Bernard Wilson tried to run away and tried to duplicate that Jerry Robinson effort. Right, we have a man shaken up now, or getting up slowly. That's Harrison. Looks like he's going to be all right.
Oh, Bigfoot. That's one that really didn't fool the Eagle defense. As we see Joe Walton there, he has his hat on backwards like a catcher. He's the offensive coordinator, and he's the man that calls the plays. He'll send them in again with Ricky Thompson or Kenny Harrison. There's a lot of controversy about the plays that he calls, but really, you know, it's not all that. If things are going well, then the plays are good, and if they don't, no matter what you call, it doesn't work.
3rd down and 6. Heisman getting some additional time. There's a flag on the play. That's Clarence Harmon again. Harmon being picked up that time by a linebacker, and Jerry Robinson, that's about as good a linebacker as you can have on a pass drop like that.
Right. Holding. Redskins.
Oh,
the penalty wasn't downfield where the ball was thrown. The penalty was at the line of scrimmage. And of course it will be holding against the Redskins. I think the Eagles will probably turn it down and bring about a 4th down situation. Decline.
Holding number 63, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
That's Fred Dean. In this game now, the Skins have 6 penalties for 60 yards. This surprises me. The Eagles have 7 for 60. They've both been penalized here today.
That's the same way it was at halftime. It was 5 and 6. It seemed like the Redskins were penalized more, but the Eagles were penalized.
It does, doesn't it? It seems like every time they get something going, they've had a penalty. But if you have 24 points on the board, the penalties don't hurt so much. Here's Connell. Connell hits a beauty. He has really kicked the ball well today. Monty Coleman down there and makes the catch.
And that's legal. You know, what he can't do is he can't interfere with the man's right to catch. But if there's no one there, if there's no Eagle there, he can go down and catch that ball. We used to always work on that. It's a lot of fun to do in practice, and we only had it happen in my 10 years as a head coach. It only happened one time.
That was a 38-yard kick. Coleman, he played some safety in college. In fact, as he came out of college, they weren't real sure he was big enough to play linebacker, but he had the excellent speed. Now he's added all that weight, and they think he could be a long-time star as he got down there quickly. So Jaworski with the troops in the end zone. Mike Hogan now in at fullback. Giamona back there as Carmichael still has been shut out today. We have 2:53 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Giamona gets a little breathing room, makes the 8-yard line area. Neil Olkowitz, Dave Butts making the tackle. Olkowitz made his first appearance of the year in that game against Philadelphia in the vet. He had been hurt early, missing all of the preseason with a knee. He is a free agent they signed in '79, and they just really like him.
And Jack Pardee says without him, their run defense suffered. And with him in there, the teams don't run against the Redskins like they do without him.
2nd down, 6. Hogan again back there along with Giamona. Jaworski off to Giamona again, and Giamona struggles out across the 10 to the 11. For a little guy, he certainly does a good job under those circumstances. Again, it was Butts, all 6'7", 285 pounds of him, along with Olkowitz on the stop. And we come to a 3rd down and about 3.
He sure takes a beating, doesn't he? That Giamona, you look, he's so small, his number 33 hardly fits on his back.
Not to mention his name.
Well, Jaworski's name has a little tough time on that back. Jaworski's body really isn't big enough for his name.
2 tight ends, Krefli and Spagnola in. Only 1 running back. That's Hogan. 3rd down, 3. Here's Hogan. And Hogan trying to get it. I don't believe he did. Paul Smith and Dave Butts. Hogan, who came into camp, shouldn't say into camp, into the Eagles situation after being weighed by the Giants, has lost a lot of weight. He came in weighing 218 pounds. Now that he's down to about 209, in the kind of shape that Dick Vermeil expects, he's starting to play more and more. And so Runniger will kick from the end zone. Helms goes back to the 45-yard line. So that punt that was placed so well and covered so well by Coleman has given the Eagles a difficult time.
This would be a good time for a punt block right here. I bet they come.
Runniger has not had 1 block. They got a lot of time. 6 seconds on the clock. And he hit a beauty. Nelms, the 45, gets away. John Shira missed the tackle, and then Nelms is knocked out of bounds at the 49 by Giamona. Of all people, Giamona just flies around out there. But Shira was coming down there, breakneck speed, but he missed the tackle. Look ahead, Chicago, Atlanta. Atlanta's winning today. Detroit, boy, if they lose today, Minnesota wins. They're going to be battling for their collective lives in that one.
You said that you thought Minnesota could possibly win that division.
And they will play Green Bay, Giants, San Francisco. That's the game we'll be doing next week. And the way the Giants are going, they might be looking for their third straight win. That was a 43-yard kick that time, under some pressure by Runniger. Buddy Hardiman. And Hardiman might have gotten the yard. Hairston making the stop. The crowd not very delighted about that play selection. You can hear the boos in the background. There's Joe Walton. He's going to send Kenny Harrison in.
Right. He gives him the play. He'll come in and give it to Joe Theismann. And Joe's sitting there waiting, or standing there waiting for it, hoping it's a good one.
This is a team, John, that really is a team of specialization. They run plays with certain people in, the pass team, the run team, and that backfield.
Right, and the receivers are the same, and they do a lot of that on defense.
6 seconds left in this third quarter. Theismann to Forte. Forte has a first down inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. LeMaster made the stop, and that is going to be the end of our third quarter of play. So the Philadelphia Eagles leading the Washington Redskins 24-0. We now pause for a word from your local station.
All new special Kenny Rogers America with guest Kim Carnes, the Commodores, Terry Bradshaw, and some of the Pittsburgh Steelers Thursday.
This is CBS.